Sheikha Hind al-Maktoum, the most mysterious wife of Dubai's ruler. One of the richest men on the planet. Sheikh Mohammed officially had 6 wives. Some ran away from him, others he kicked out himself. The only person who stays with him for nearly 50 years is Hind, who gave birth to 12 children. Is her marriage happy for her? Why did the Guinness Book of Records list their wedding? Was she planning an attack on the Sheikh's other wives as well? Remember to subscribe and like our channel. Now let's get going. Hamdan's mother, Hind al-Maktoum, is the First Lady of Dubai. She was born on February 12, 1962, and is a member of the al-Maktoum dynasty, which rules Dubai. Sayyid II, the King of Dubai, was the father of her mother, Sheikha. The princess was raised in her family in accordance with Islamic customs. She hardly ever left the castle, and it seemed as though destiny was lining her up for a peculiar assignment. Hind was the paternal second cousin and maternal cousin of Sheikh Mohammed, therefore Hind had known her since they were young. The major event in her life occurred in 1979, when she turned 17. The parents of Hind and Mohammed approved of their marriage. The Minister of Defense and leader of Dubai's police force at the time was Sheikh Mohammed. At 30 years old, he had already relished his single life. The man even had a daughter named Manal, with a Lebanese woman named Randa, 2 years prior to his engagement to Hind. Mohammed's family made the decision to make it known to the world that the Sheikh had settled down, presumably growing weary of his extramarital activities. The wedding was planned on an unparalleled magnitude, just to be clear. There were political connotations to the extravagant celebration. As the Emirates started to make significant sums of money from the sale of oil, they wanted to demonstrate their progress to the entire world. The first significant public event in Dubai was the marriage of Mohammed and Hind. On a larger scale, it resembled a national holiday rather than a wedding. The festivities were placed close to Zabal's royal residence. Cleared and gated off was the vast sandy area in front of the palace. Lighting poles were put in place and embellished. A stadium with 20,000 seats was constructed specifically for the nuptials. The fact that only VIPs were permitted entry inside the stadium serves as an example of the magnitude of the festivities. There were hundreds of thousands of common Arabs living outside. They could only see an event never before seen by the Emirates in this manner. Hind was presented with presents by a group of 20 rare breed camels in a procession. These were presents from Mohammed and the esteemed guests to the bride. The majority of them included jewelry, vintage crockery, rugs, and cars that were loaded with jewels and rubies. Every Dubai resident received free food and entertainment during a period of 5 days. A large-scale air show was presented in the skis for the first time in the history of the city. The guests were also treated to camel races, which Mohammed al-Maktoum emerged victorious from. He also placed the gold cup he had won at his wife's feet. The lavishness of the ceremony astounded the nobility in attendance. $137 million was spent on the vacation. This wedding was recorded in the Guinness Book of Records as the most costly wedding in history. Up until recently, no lady in history had ever had a wedding this extravagant. Remarkably, Hind, who was 17 years old, was unfazed by the opulent spectacle. Following the festivities, she gave her whole attention to raising her family. She had 12 children with her spouse during the following 20 years. She was a mother nearly every year, which is remarkable in and of itself. Hind also reared a number of foster children whom she had acquired from charitable organizations. Most of them had been taken from orphanages as orphans. On the other hand, Mohammed is the father of some of Hind's non-native offspring. The lustful sheikh brought them to his senior wife to raise after removing them from his other wives. Witnesses report that she not only did not oppose to this, but really exulted. The mother has never distinguished between her own children and others, although having an immense affection for them all. A year after the wedding, the princess gave birth to her first child, a girl named Hessa. After an additional year, Rashid was born. He was the one destined to take his father's place on the Dubai kingdom. His mother invested her entire being in the future ruler's upbringing, and the people of Dubai hoped that he would grow up to be a strong-willed, bright guy. But her mother's pride, a gifted athlete and heir apparent to the kingdom, passed away from a heart attack when he was 33 years old. Hind was really hurt by this, but she felt she had no right to feel hopeless. She had to raise her other children and get them ready for maturity after all. Hind's destiny was to undergo numerous more trials. Her husband had so many wives, it's likely that the Sheikh does not even recall some of them. Mohammed typically had 3 or 4 wives at a time, and they would alternate every so often. This typically occurred after a fight between him and the next wife. He then severed his relationship with the woman and absconded with the kids. Even though Hind was raised in strict Muslim customs, she saw all of this and accepted it with humility. In keeping with these customs, she always covers her face with a mask. The burqa is the name for this metallic-colored cloth mask that Arab women in the Gulf region wear. This word bears similarities to the word burqa, which denotes a full face covering. However, the burqa, which historically represents femininity, only covers a portion of the face. Arab ladies used to wear the burqa on a daily basis. However, elderly women are increasingly the main ones who have it. Hind was in for a pretty bad experience in 2004. Sheikh Mohammed wed the stunning Jordanian princess Haya. She was more strikingly beautiful, energetic, and ambitious than Hind, and she was 12 years younger. She gave interviews, participated in public social activities, and attended all occasions with Mohammed, in contrast to the Sheikh's elder wife. But this marriage did not end well. Haya fled the palace with her 2 kids after 15 years. She succeeded in suing her ex-husband for $730 million in a London court. The world's most expensive divorce originated from this one. In a strange turn of events, Sheikh Mohammed broke 2 world records involving his wives. He incurred very enormous costs for his nuptials with Hind. However, in order to divorce Haya legally, he had to give up much more. It seems that he is also regretting nothing. Both of his spouses, after all, gave him more than cash. Regarding Hind, she has done a fantastic job parenting all of Mohammed's kids. Crown Prince Hamdan is getting ready to succeed his father as the head of Dubai, and is actively involved in the development of the Emirates. 7 additional sons are involved in business, science, and public administration. The majority of girls are happily married and have kids. The First Lady is currently older than 60. Hind helps her husband manage the emirate now that she has completed her role as a mother. In addition to overseeing the social sphere, she actively works in charity and helps advance Arab women in the administration. But just as previously, Hind doesn't display her accomplishments to the world and works without feeling. There is a rumor that Mama Noura, the nanny who assisted Hind in raising Sheikh Mohammed's children, is shown in these pictures instead of Hind, and that the few images of Hind were all taken when she was younger. How do you feel about this? Post a comment below. The people of Dubai have a great deal of respect and affection for their First Lady. Hind is viewed by the women in the area as an example of the human attributes that a real Muslim woman ought to have. She has endured her husband's pranks and multiple romantic relationships, sharing both happiness and grief with him. Who knows? Perhaps this is the manifestation of a woman's unselfish love. Subscribe to the channel, put a like. See you soon.